And Knesset coming to you from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the 15th day of November in the year 2021. Sure hope you're enjoying your Monday, no matter where it is you are in the country. Chilly day here in the Northeast. 3 years ago at this date, it was snowing, so I guess we could be a little bit worse off than we are today. But regardless of where you are, as you do every Monday night, you welcome me into your homes so that I can bring you the latest news that will appear in The Observer this week. And the headline on the front page that you can see on your screen is Veterans Honored. And on Thursday, there was a beautiful ceremony in Kearney for Veterans Day. And Belleville also had a Veterans kind of weekend not too long ago, and that included a special 5K run where all the money that was donated and raised will be given to veterans causes in Belleville. So check out that page one story when you get a chance, and we have some photos as well, including the top photo, which my dear friend Peter Santana took and allowed us to use. I thought he did a great job of framing the flag in the photo with the people who were standing there in Kearney, and the second photo is from the Belleville celebration as well. Also on page number one this week is the Kearney Cardinals have done it again, winning a sectional state sectional title by beating West Orange 2-1. Jim Hague has a full recap. You'll see that on page one, and then it moves into the sports section. So check that out when you get a chance. Page number two, Kearney Police Blotter. Very disturbing initial entry. Occasionally, Tim will send us, without using names, some specific examples of domestic violence, and in this particular case, a husband threw his wife to the bed and urinated on her after he assaulted her. It's one of the most despicable things I think I've seen in the blotter in a long time. So read that and read the other entries. But though we don't always report about the domestic violence cases, one of the reasons we don't use names is because we don't want to do anything to hurt the victim in those cases. But occasionally Tim will send them to us, and when he does, they're often awful, and that was certainly the case here. On page number four, as we skip more into the paper, Ron Lear, my colleague, has a story about Kearney's new school business administrator. He's 27 years old. He's a young guy, but he is very well experienced, and apparently he's doing a great job, loves what he's doing, and I think the people who work with and for him are enjoying it as well. Now, this is something you may know about already. I'm sure you've heard that the Essex Hudson Greenway project has been greenlighted by Governor Phil Murphy. But here's the thing. There is not universal approval for this project, and I'll tell you why. That is because in the town of Kearney, there have been a lot of questions that have not been answered yet, and that Mayor Al Santos is waiting to get, but he hasn't gotten yet. And that is who's going to patrol it and keep it safe, who's going to maintain it, and the governor's office has not answered those questions yet. I sent questions to the governor's office late last week, hoping to get some answers for the mayor. I didn't. So he had a press conference in Bloomfield on Friday. They invited Mayor Santos about 24 hours prior to this press conference happening, mind you. Mayor Santos didn't go, and I don't blame him. They haven't answered these questions, and they really need to answer the questions. Is it going to be the responsibility of the municipalities to send police out? Will it be the county's responsibility? Will it be the state park police who handle stuff like this? Will it be the state police? So until they get the answers, I don't think you're going to see much excitement from officials in the town of Kearney as far as this project goes until they get the answers. And, of course, there's certain areas where the trail will go right around people's backyards. So I don't know how comfortable I'd feel, I guess, if I was living around any of those places. But other than the town, it seems like there's pretty much universal approval for this project. I'm not sold on it 100% yet. I'd really like to see those answers, and I'm sure the mayor and the council would too. But as is always the case when we deal with the governor's office in this town, it's like you don't want to hold your breath because you're going to die, because he never answers, and he just seems to only deal with us when he has to. 2 years later, we're dealing with it again, so we'll see what comes of all of this. North Arlington Police Blotter is in this week as well, and it involves a case where $8,000 almost in batteries were stolen from the T-Mobile store up on Ridge Road, so you'll check that out. and it's great to have the NAPD blotter in the paper on a regular basis. Now, so we'd like to thank the blotter writer, the lieutenant from the police department, and Chief Scott Henberg as well for putting this together for us. We've got a Bridging the Gap this week from a high school student at Lyndhurst High School. She writes about this thing called mindfulness classes, and I think it's a good start for her, and it's certainly something that I'd never heard of, mindfulness classes. And I don't want to give it away, so I want you to read this and what it's all about. And she suggests that they would be more helpful for students who now have to sort of deal with COVID and when they were taking virtual classes, things of that nature. So check that out on page number 8 when you get a chance, mindfulness classes. Jim Haig has his usual sports, and I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything here, but I don't think I did. This is certainly of no less importance than anything else in this week's paper. The Archdiocese of Newark celebrated the 28th ever Blue Mass last week, and among those who were remembered at that liturgy were Detective Joseph Seals, who was a member of the Jersey City Police Department who was murdered in 2019, and Detective Seals and his family lived in North Arlington. You probably remember that. I'll never forget that day. For as long as I live, we listened in on that while it was happening. He was killed in a cemetery in Jersey City. Just a terrible, terrible day that was. But the Blue Mass honors all the people who were lost in the line of duty and not in the line of duty as well in law enforcement. And it was a beautiful Mass that Cardinal Tobin celebrated in front of about 2,000 people a couple of days ago. As we do every week, we have 2 pages of classifieds. You'll check those out. And then, of course, if anything happens during the course of the week, we will join you back here once again. That's going to do it for this week. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me tonight. And we hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everybody. Good night.